Hello, 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 beautiful souls. This is Kate Woodlock from Empowerment Through Spirit. I just wanted to hop on real quick and talk a little bit about spiritual awakenings and how they can be painful. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today about spiritual awakenings, and I feel like when we talk about spiritual awakenings, we really most often talk about the good stuff, the end of the tunnel at spiritual awakenings and how we're feeling connected and empowered and self-loving and everything is bright and beautiful and we're seeing the world through new eyes and everything is amazing. But we don't often talk about the process of getting there. And getting there can be difficult, especially when we're in human form. We don't often realize what is actually happening. And the process of getting there when we're in human form can be difficult, First thing, when we're in human form and we're starting to go through a spiritual awakening, things can start to break. Furnaces, cars, technology, relationships, emotions, the passing of an animal or a loved one. All of these things are basic symptoms of a spiritual awakening. A miscarriage or a bankruptcy, like all of these things are things that start to happen when you're going through that upheaval of emotions and things that are leaving your body, and you might not realize what is actually happening, that you're leveling up to a new state of reality and a new state of who you are becoming. And our lives can start to feel like they are completely falling apart, and if you're not aware of what's happening, it feels like chaos, like you don't know what is happening, like you don't know who you are, and emotions can feel like they are on complete high drive. When your life is falling apart, if you're in an abusive relationship, you don't know who to turn to, you don't know what's happening, like you're alone in the world, or like you're being punished. That's a big one. Like when your life is falling apart, if you're in the middle of a divorce, if your kids are being taken away, if you're involved in, a court of law with your children, it can really feel like you're being punished. And you might not realize that what is actually happening is that you're shedding layers of who you are to become who you are supposed to be. And it can really feel like, the world is punishing you, and like your source is punishing you, or like God is punishing you. And in reality, from a higher perspective, that's not what is happening at all. And every day can feel like such a fight for survival, for your children, for yourself, for any kind of normalcy, like going to work. You just have to put your makeup on and put your bag on your shoulder and fight to feel like I can do this, and I can do this, and I can pretend to be normal, and I can be a good mom, and I can be a good person, and I can be a good girlfriend or a good sister or a good daughter, and I can be the person that I was yesterday, or I was last week, or I was last year. Like I can pretend to be that person, and you're starting to realize a little bit in your mind that you're not that person, and you're clinging desperately trying to be that person, but starting to realize that you're not that person at all, and holding on desperately, trying to figure out how to be that person and trying to hang on to be that person. But it feels like you're walking on fire, trying to hang on to every little bit, trying to be that person, and it's not working. And in this world that we live in, we live such complicated lives. We live such high-paced, complicated lives, and it's really hard when we have all these other things going on. I mean, we are souls in human form, and when things like this come in, you're like, are you serious? Like, I have to deal with this now too. I have to deal with the kid going to soccer practice. I have to deal with my job. I have to deal with my boss, and now I have this coming in. Seriously? Like, I don't have time. I don't have time for this. And as humans, we are really, really resistant to change. We cling so hard to what we know, and we cling so hard to what is comfortable and what feels safe. But what is safe is not always what is good for us. We cling to what is familiar, And that's really what it is, what is familiar. And that's what is familiar is not always what is safe or what is good for us. You know, really, nobody that was ever going through a major spiritual awakening ever sat in meditation and felt good. I assure you of that. The people that were going through major spiritual awakenings sat in meditation and went like this, you know, going, oh my God, I can't do this. This is horrible. Their minds were racing. Their emotions were going haywire. They couldn't calm their minds. That's what the beginnings of spiritual awakenings feel like. They're difficult. You know, we're shedding our snake skins. We're coming into new beings, and it's hard and it hurts. You know, it's a rebirthing process. You know, any of you women out there that have given birth, like, is that a pleasant process? I don't reckon. It hurts and it's difficult. And if you try to sit in meditation, like if you try to meditate while giving birth, that is not gonna work that well. You know, you can't sit in meditation while giving birth and think you're gonna be all happy and zen. No, it's gonna be difficult and it's gonna hurt. And the more messed up and chaotic you feel, the higher spiritual calling you have. I promise you that. The more messed up and chaotic you feel, the higher spiritual calling you have. I really, truly, honestly believe that. And all that is really happening here is that all of the old beliefs and all of the old conditionings you have, like all of the old conditionings from childhood, the old conditionings that you were given from your parents and from your family line that were given to you from generations past, like you are just shedding those, because you don't need them and they are not a part of you, and you don't need them, and you don't need to pass them to your children. You don't need to pass them down your family line, and they are no longer serving you. But they have been a part of you from, you know, this part of your life now. And it's difficult to let those things go. It really is. And it takes some time, and it takes a little bit of oomph, you know, it takes a little bit of um, strength to let those things go, because it's what we've been comfortable with. It's what we've known so far, to let those things go and to let that, to finally take that deep breath and to say, I can let that go, and I can be confident in who I am, and I can let that go. And to receive that incoming new energy and say, I am comfortable with letting that go and replacing it with this new incoming energy. Because you can't receive that new incoming energy if you're not willing to let the old go. And throughout this process, you are becoming the you that you are supposed to be, the you that you were always meant to be, like that incarnate energy that you came in to this life that you were supposed to be with, that you meant to be. And you were supposed to go through all of the processes, all of the traumas, all of the things that you were supposed to go through to be able to become this energy. You were knocked down to be able to rise up, to become this strong, incredible human being that you are right now, to become this person. So you were supposed to have all of those terrible relationships, all of those horrible heartbreaks, all of those terrible things that happened to you. Those happened for a reason, so that you could become this incredible person that you are now. I know it hurts, and I know it sucks, and I know it's shitty. I don't like to curse, but I know it sucks, and I know it's shitty, and it's a horrible thing. But the ways that you interact in the world change as a result. When you knock out those friendships, when you knock out those relationships, when you are able to stand up as a strong human being and say, no, screw that. I'm not gonna stand for that. I'm not gonna stand in those relationships. I will not hold that in my life. I will not do that. Those relationships will not be a part of my life. And I can smile and say no. that's not a part of who I am, and that will no longer be a part of who I am. And there is, in the process of that letting go, there is a grieving process, because you're letting go of a big part of who you used to be, um, and who you used to know, and who you were. That child's part of you, the part of you that your parents taught you to be, the part of you that was in middle school, that all that insecurity. Like, there's a big part of that shedding of the skin, and you look at that old skin and you say, am I ready to let that go? And there can be a big grieving process, and it can be painful and confusing. And you look at it and you say, am I ready? Am I ready to let it go? I'm not sure. And it can be sad and confusing and painful to let it go. And especially if you're not fully aware of what's happening and of the new energy that's coming in, and not fully accepting of the unconditional love of that new energy that's coming in, if you're not fully aware of your connection to heaven and of earth and of source and of earth and of the amazing spirit guides, and of all of the energies that you are actually connected to, that are supporting you throughout your entire journey, that have helped you this far, which is incredible, which is why you're here to begin with. And I mean, it takes some people years to get this far. It really does. But it doesn't have to take that long. I mean, and it doesn't have to take that much turmoil and that much damage. I mean, because if it takes you years, it can cause a lot of damage and a lot of pain. And there really is a much easier way. You don't have to sit back and watch your lives fall apart. You don't have to feel lost and without purpose, because that is one of the biggest things I hear so much, like feeling lost and without purpose, and like you don't know where you are, and like I don't love myself. And that is something that I've identified with in the past as well, like not feeling with purpose. But you can find that, and you can know that, absolutely. You can and will find that, and it doesn't have to take forever. It doesn't have to take that long at all. That can be an expedited thing. It really can. This is your awakening process, and this is meant to be utilized, and this is meant to be utilized now. This is what you are here for. This is what you are here for now, like here and now in this process. This is why you are watching this video. This is why you are here right now. So if you are ready to stop this chaos, and you are ready to stop feeling that way, like you don't know where you are, and you don't know why you're here, and you don't want to feel sad, and you don't want to feel unloved, and you don't want to feel that chaos anymore. If you are calling out for help, like, shoot me a PM. Let's get in contact. I'm all fired up. I love this. This is like one of the biggest things that I love doing with my clients. This is my sole purpose here. So like, let's get in contact. I love doing this. This is like the biggest thing I love doing. Let's find you your peace. Let's find you your soul purpose. Let's do this. Like, shoot me a PM. Let's get in touch. Let's find you your soul purpose on the other side of your awakening. Let's find you your light. I can get you the same amazing results I find my clients, and I would absolutely love to get in contact with all of you. I'm all psyched. So I haven't looked at any comments. I'm so sorry. I was super excited. I'm going to scroll up here. Kara's here. Hi, Jenny. Kara. Thank you, Karen, for joining. And Julie, Dawn. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Tanya and Crystal, Victoria. Okay, so why are the symptoms of awakening? What are the symptoms of awakening? So the symptoms of awakening can range very differently from person to person. Sometimes it can be something from your life falling apart a little bit. Sometimes people start hearing things. It depends on the type of person that you are, to be honest. In my personal awakening, I had started to do a lot of spiritual work to begin with. So I started hearing things, you know, spirits and things like that. I started seeing things. But for a lot of people, things in their lives start to fall apart a lot. You know, they start going through emotional turmoil. They start going through divorces. Things start breaking around them. They start going through upheaval, and they don't really realize that that's what they're going through. That it is a spiritual awakening because it's a breaking down of the emotional processes in their system, to become who they're supposed to be, because they're releasing all of the things that no longer serve them. They're releasing the old relationships. They're releasing their old beliefs on money and abundance. Some people go through bankruptcy, because they're releasing their old views on how they view money, and they have to hit that rock bottom on how they view money to be able to release that system and that view on how they view money, to be able to create a life of abundance and how they live, to allow that new energetic system to create a life of true abundance. And by abundance, I don't just mean money. I mean abundance in love. I mean abundance in energy. I mean abundance in all forms, you know, in food, in nourishing ourselves. Abundance is all things. It's not just money. Yes, Cara, finally realizing I deserve more help. You're welcome, Jenny. All right, does anybody else have any questions or comments? All right, I love you all dearly. I really do. You guys are all my heart. And I will see you all in the next video.